YouTube. Nice to see you all. So we should be heading. Yes, we are live. It's great to see you all, guys. Thank you so much for joining again on Friday at 6:30. It's going to be an exciting session today. Probably might have to put them into two sessions because this is a very dynamic topic. We're talking about hacking dating dynamics. I've gotten so much feedback from the majority of you telling me, for example, why don't you talk about dating? Why don't you talk about relationships? Why don't you talk about, why people go through such a difficult time in today's world with everything that's going on? So I thought about this topic basically, and prepared some very interesting information for you, both at the level of neuroscience and also at the level of culture and behavior. So I'm just going to wait a few seconds to make sure that everybody logs on. I should be live on Instagram. I'm not sure. It still doesn't show me that I'm live, which is weird, and I'm sorry for that. Give me just 1 second. Let me figure this out. Add to your story. I should be live. And here we go. I put this before. I don't know why Instagram's giving me some trouble. So I'll just wait a couple of seconds until everyone joins the call, and then we will get to it. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Very excited about this topic. Whoops, I wrote that wrong. Thank you guys for waiting for me. Here we go, and I think we should be good to go. And now we're live on Instagram. Okay, so we're going to talk about hacking dating dynamics. And what we mean by hacking dating dynamics is really to talk about one of the primary things I keep hearing over and over and over again, which is, why do both men and women suffer from dating individuals that do not appreciate the fact that they're good people? So in other words, and I'm sorry I had to write it in the way that I did, but just to get straight to the pain point, which is, why do nice people get dumped? Why is it that when we date someone and we care for them and we show them our emotions and we show them that we are loving and caring and supportive and understanding, why is it that unfortunately they go for the exact opposite, even though they're always saying that they want someone honest, caring, and respectful and loving, right? Why is it that this always happens over and over and again, and what can we do about it? So it's going to be a really intense topic today as we wait for more and more people to join, because I know a lot of people are interested in this topic, and I just wanted to make sure that we give everyone the opportunity to be able to communicate. As usual, you can reach me on Facebook, my Facebook account, my Facebook page, my YouTube account, and also live on Instagram. For those who are live on Instagram, if I'm going to write down notes for a long time, I will switch the camera like I did last time so you can see the notes. Today's going to be quite a sensationally challenging topic, because I'm going to probably talk about things that are going to put you outside your comfort zone. So coming into this conversation, I would like to invite you to recognize that this is a safe space, that we're here to care for each other, but we also need to be honest about what's going on in our life, and the cycle of attraction, the types of men or women that we tend to attract into our lives, and the kind of relationships that we end up getting ourselves trapped into, and the side effects of those relationships, and how long sometimes we get stuck in those relationships, and why this keeps happening. And maybe even right now you're married and you're in a relationship that is causing you that kind of an outcome, and it probably wasn't the right relationship to get into in the first place. So we're going to talk about these things. I don't think I'm going to be able to cover it all in one session, so I might have to do an extended session, do a second one next week covering this. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to take a look at this from both perspectives, from the perspective of a woman dating a jerk, okay, let's call it a jerk, and from the perspective of men who are dating not a very nice woman, okay, for the lack of other things. Now, we also, as always, you guys can join this conversation. You can share with me your thoughts. The two things I ask for always are responsibility. This is a show that is public, so I want to make sure that whatever we communicate, whatever we say is respectable. There might be people under 18 watching this, and it should, they're more than welcome to. So please make sure that the conversation stays respectful, and two, whatever you say, you're responsible for. Okay. And as always, this is my show, so I have the right to not answer something if I feel it is unethical or does not fit within those guidelines. But I don't think anyone's going to get there. I just wanted to share this with you so that it's in the clear. All right, I see I've got already someone joined into the call on live stream. So let's invite his. Well, I'm not sure if this is really your name. Hello, Fadil.
Hi, I actually joined here because I was having internet connections on Instagram, so I can hear you better here.
Okay, so you are the special person that keeps joining, that keeps using different names every single time. This Fadil Shakir, I think, is a famous Lebanese singer.
I believe so.
Okay, so for the future, let's try to keep those names kind of realistic, so I know I'm dealing with, at least so I know if it's a man or a woman. But welcome. Thank you for joining the show. Before we get into the depth of it, you can ask me your question very quickly because I have some kind of an intro to kick into, and I so appreciate having you. So go ahead, tell me. What would you like to share with us today?
I honestly don't have any questions, but I'm really interested in what you're going to be talking about today.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. So then in that case, why don't we just stick to a name that would be your like superhero name, and then we can use that regularly for the future when you join us so that we can build some kind of context for your character. Is that okay?
I love it. Okay.
All right. So I'll give you some time to think about that, readjust the name, and thank you so much for joining. It is always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So guys, Fadil Shakir, that was interesting. What I'd like to do, I mean, I really enjoy her joining the show. It's just, it's a weird name. So what I want to do is, let's get straight into it. Does anybody have any ideas as to why nice people end up being dumped by not so nice people? Any ideas? I'm going to give you a chance. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I just see so many of you saying hello, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm sorry that I don't respond back. It's just I found it quite annoying when I look at the recordings later and I see myself going, hello this, hello that, hello. So just to keep things moving forward in a organized manner, you'll find that I really do see it and I appreciate it, but I just need to keep things going because they take us for granted. Okay, so let me write these down. I'm gonna jump to sharing my screen and write down what you guys are saying. Let's go straight to that. Here we go. And let's start by writing this down. For those of you on Insta, you're not going to be able to see the screen right now, but I'm going to write down what you're telling me. So first reason that I received right now why, nice people get dumped, well, that's way too thick, is because they take us for granted. Okay. What else? What else do you want to share with me? Facebook, YouTube, come on, kick in. Give me some comments, please. I'd love to hear from you. They take us for granted. So they feel we have a kind heart and will always forgive them. Okay. What are other reasons why, not so nice people, jerks, male or female, tend to take advantage of nice people and then dump them? They enjoy giving. So you're saying that the nice person enjoys giving. Okay. And that's why. So if you're giving a lot, why does the other person dump you since they're getting a lot from you? Bassam, hi Natalie. Bassam, can you explain that a little bit more? What do you mean by, I think it's kind of a necessity? Okay, they get bored. They get bored. Okay, 4. I think they do that because we let them do that. So we let them. So we let them take advantage and then dump us. Okay. I'm just taking a look. 5. bullying. Okay, so I guess if they're bullying, then they're getting like a psychology push. Okay, Bassam, you're saying like plus percent and minus, night and day. So you're saying like yin and yang. So we're opposites, so opposites attract, I guess. Okay, I see a lot of amazing comments coming in. I just want to understand what you guys think. It's in their intuition, being nice and generous with everyone. So you're talking about the nice people, but why do they dump you guys? I mean, sorry if it is you. The other person get used to taking and stop doing effort. So they take it for granted. We put granted and stop doing effort. Come on, give me other reasons why you believe nice people are dumped. Let's get real, okay? You don't have to get so like politically correct. I just want to know what's really in your heart and your mind. Because we don't stop them. We keep on thinking they will eventually change, and we give them excuses in order to make ourselves feel better. So excuses from our end. Okay. Nice person has low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. So that's another reason why they take advantage of us. Okay, and Natalie, they were not aligned in the first place. They were chosen for the reason that they are good and kind. Okay, so they're not the same. We said that, kind heart. Okay, nice people finish last, sadly. Okay, let's see. So nice finish last. So if you're nice, you're gonna be victimized. Okay. I think that maybe it's a parental problem linked to parents. Okay, maybe having tough parents. I'm loving this feedback. Keep them coming, guys, because an empath is a perfect victim for a narcissistic personality. All right. So empaths, which goes with what Bassam said, empaths attract narcs. Not narcs as in cops, okay? Because we don't get to choose the right people, because we don't get to choose the right people, because we don't get to choose the right people. Guys, I'm using a pad, so my handwriting is going to be absolutely horrible right now, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to write this down as fast as possible. Actually, John, I think it's a matter of different aspects of a relationship. Being nice is solely the important factor in a relationship. So it's not solely. So there are more factors. Give me a list of these factors, D. So just so I have a better idea. Okay. All right. Nice to see the name change. It's me. Yay. 14. We can't accept them. We can accept them at their worst. So this will lead them to dumping us. You can't stay so nice and give everything. So you can't stay so nice and give everything. All right. I mean, if there's anything else you want to add to this list, I think these are pretty big lists right now. Okay, someone listed as North African culture. They are the best target for narcissists who get stuck, who they suck their energy. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for giving me such amazing feedback. Let's go through them really quickly and then find out how to deal with that. So D, what you're saying is they should be nice. These factors are be nice and then put boundaries. So that's your strategy. Put boundaries. Okay. All right. Leah, blind love, when we refuse to see the flaws of the partner and keep on justifying their acts. So you're saying basically it's your fault that you don't see and you justify them, etc. And then being nice and having self-respect and appreciation. So these are some of the factors. Okay, well, thanks so much for that. We're going to get back to this in just a second. I just see one more response. I'll read this last one on Facebook because lately there's a lot of confusion. I'm moving to the left because I have to keep my phone here. Okay, because there's a lot of confusion with the concept of unconditional love and couples love has to be conditional. All right. And Maryam's saying lack of self-love. Okay. Look, you guys are amazing. You're giving me a lot of great content. And I think this is going to be a phenomenal session for you all, because we're really going to dig deep. Why are my cheeks so red? We're really going to dig deep. It's pretty hot. Into what is going on here. In order to make this make sense for everybody, I'd like to start off from the beginning, okay? And take you through a journey. Now, what I'm going to talk about is going to be controversial for some of you, okay? So I'd really like to invite you to have an open mind. Please do not judge what I'm going to say to you right now until we've gone through the entire journey, until I've completed the entire loop. Because if you look at it on its own, it's not going to make full sense to you, okay? There's a journey that I've noticed that people go through. And in this journey, we're going to take a look at some of the reasons behind why this happens over and over and over and over again, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys have read some books, taken a look at some topics, kind of delved into some research about these kinds of things. But if you have, you're going to notice that there's a lot of different theories and a lot of different books out there talking about how men and women should be together in the context of a dating, okay, situation, like why men marry the B word, for example, or love the B word, why men are from Mars and women are from Venus, stuff like that. Okay, all these books that have concepts about male-female dating. And what I'd like to highlight here is that if you're thinking about male and female dating alone, some of these concepts could be true, because dating itself is some form of a game, okay? But if you're thinking about relationships as something in the context of a long-term relationship where you can actually be with somebody and spend a long time with that person, enjoying life and partnering together in that journey towards life, okay, or whatever life is going to throw at you, then in that case, the conditions change. So what I'm trying to highlight for you is there are two contexts for what we call dating, okay? And we need to identify that they have different paradigms and different parameters, okay? So if I split this in the middle, okay, that's my attempt at a straight line, and I put here dating, I'm making a big handwriting so you guys can see it, okay, for short term. So, and there's no judgment on my end, okay? I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong. But dating for short term basically means if I'm dating someone, or a woman is dating someone for short term benefits or gains, and I'm not talking about necessarily something sexual, but maybe you're bored and you just want to go out with someone for a short term, okay? Like a month, 2, 3, 4 months. You really haven't thought about marriage. It's not something in your mindset right now. You just want to date someone. You just want to have someone to hang out with, okay? And then on the other end, you have dating, okay, for a long term, which in context usually means partnering or marrying someone, okay, in the classic sense, and living with that person for a long time. So, see, the reason why I have to split this up into two parts is because we have completely different objectives. If you're dating for the short term, then your objective is very, very different. And the rules of the game are very different than the rules here, okay? And if you notice, I called it a game because most people play it as a game. But in this section, it's not a game, it's a journey. In the long-term section, it's a journey. So what do I mean by this? Let me take you through a journey of what tends to happen most of the times. And I'm going to try to explain this from the perspective of a woman first, okay? And why a woman ends up dating men who are jerks, for the lack of a better use of words, okay? And why biologically actually we're attracted as women, not me, but women are attracted to jerks, okay? And then from there, this will also answer the question for nice men, and good men and good and decent men, and why they tend to not always end up with the woman that they desire. Okay, so I see you guys laughing. That's cool. So let's start off the journey. So journey number one is, here we start off. I'm going to try to make this literal for those who are on Instagram. In journey number one, it starts off like this. Please focus with me because it's going to take a little bit of focus, okay? So let's say a young girl, let's call her Joy. Nice, happy, beautiful name, right? Joy. By the way, whenever I choose names, that has no significance, okay? I just try to think of a random name and whatever pops up, pops up. So when Joy is, let's say, 14 to 17 years old, okay? And she ends up, having, this generation has really grown up a lot faster than it should because of media. But let's say in the classic sense, okay, on average around the world, 14 to 17-year-old girls have that context of romantic love to an extent, okay? And or whatever it is, who comes to try to date this girl? A predator, okay? And when I say predator, I don't mean a sexual predator. What I mean is someone who's like 20, 21, 22, 23, the alpha guy who's also high on testosterone. And she's going through that experience where she's becoming a woman from becoming a girl and a woman. If you watch all the teen movies that are on Hollywood, you'll always see the same thing, all this drama of self-value and importance. And, she wants to be pretty and she's worried about her freckles and her teeth and acne and all that kind of stuff. And the men are worried about their muscles and their good looks and whatever it was. I don't know, in the 70s and 80s, it was gelled hair. Today, it's about bling bling and all kinds of stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, this girl gets a predator, okay? And why does she get approached by a predator? Because she's the perfect prey, okay? And we're talking psychologically here, okay? So what happens is, a young girl, okay, is kind of sweet and gentle and loving and caring and ready to give attention, even if she acts in school like she's really tough. In real life, everyone who's young is technically really wonderful and clean from the inside. So here comes this man who wants to play the game because he's been taught the game by an older generation of men who are around, 23 to 28 and have been told, let me give you some examples of these. I think you've heard of these before, all right? Yes, thank you. The word would be fragile too. And the more the girl who's a teen has a high presence on social media, usually the more fragile she's going to be because she has lower self-esteem, usually. Okay, I'm not judging. Please understand, I'm generalizing, okay? So nobody come and tell me, no, that's not the case. Don't try to defend yourselves, okay, because I'm not attacking you. I'm just completely saying in general, okay? So what happens here in this case is that this guy is taught the rule book of how to date girls and how to manipulate a woman, okay, who is still a girl. So what does he do? Gives her little attention, then stops giving her attention, then she gets confused, and she's like, does he like me? Does he not like me? So what happens is her brain is spending more time thinking about him. Now, the issue with that is, as a side effect for women specifically, the more time a woman spends time thinking about a man, the more she becomes infatuated with him, okay? And this is a really odd side effect of a female brain because to some extent, she believes that the more she thinks about that person, okay, then the more that person must be relevant or important to her world, okay? And that's because she doesn't know herself yet. And here's where things get messy. If she is a girl who grew up in an environment where her father was not emotionally available, okay, I'm not getting deep into psychology because this is more the area of therapy, but common sense. If she doesn't have a very available father, she has a domineering father, or she has, unfortunately, a father who's been very tough, and I'm not going to get into abusive relationships because that's a whole nother world on its own. But let's say within the context of normalcy, but like the very Mediterranean or Middle Eastern father, no, you will not go out until you are 29 and you will be married instantly. The moment you open your eyes, open the door, look outside, you see man, you marry, okay? And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the male-dominated environment where a young man will be told, "Yalla habibi, you must be strong man. More women like you, you are greater." Okay, I'm just trying to make this fun. Okay, I'm not judging. So what's happening here is both are taught a wrong framework of two things. One, their personal value. So they've learned that their value is tied to something that is manipulative. Okay? Now, here's where things get nasty. In today's world, especially talking to a lot of teens, you will notice that girls do this now too. They've become the predators. So they've started to say, okay, it's not just men who will do this to us, but it's also women who can do this to men. And she will try to date 6, 7 guys, maybe nothing that is physical in nature, but just emotionally messing around with all of them and getting them to do her favors and trying to abuse these sweeter men or nicer men or more vulnerable types of men who are emotionally available. So this doesn't just happen from a male to female ratio. It also happens from a male to female, female to male standpoint. But in the past, it was primarily dominated as a space by males. So if you're at an age of 30 plus, you probably experienced this or your friends experienced this when you were in high school. If you're younger than this, then it could go one way or the other, okay? Because teens today are really, really awake in some places, but really not given the power to think reflectively and understand the impact of these poor choices that they're making. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying in general, okay? So here's where things go wrong. Check this out. This sweet girl, 14 to 17 years old, falls in love with this predator approach type of male. It's fun for both. Why? Because at the very beginning, she's now saying, wow, this guy's got the muscles, this guy's got the style, this guy's outgoing, this guy. So what is she looking for when it comes to characteristics, okay? She's looking for confidence. So the first thing she looks for is he confident? Okay. Whoops, I wanted that to be green. I'm just gonna write that. It's a checklist. And then she sees that he's confident. She goes, aha, this man is confident. He is strong man. And then we go to the next style, which is he assertive? So is he someone who has an opinion? Does he state his case? Is he manly? Does he step up to the plate? You know, does he speak his mind? Okay. Is he outgoing? Is he fun? Does he like to get along with others? Is he communicative or is he shy? So what you're noticing is that in her mind, the poor girl, because she doesn't know yet how to identify the difference, okay, she typically gets attracted to someone who's probably narcissistic or who's starting to become narcissistic or who has some of these tendencies. And in fact, what's hiding behind this mask of confidence, assertiveness, and so forth is a sea of narcissism, arrogance, vanity. This could equally apply to a woman, okay? Goes the same way, all right? Entitled. So he or she believes that they're entitled to the universe, highly competitive, okay? And probably even self-centered. And so where do things go wrong? Things go wrong, okay? And I'm loving your comments, guys, but I'm continuing to explain this straightforward. Things go wrong in the short-term game, because in the short-term game, what's happening here is that the person, the young girl, is looking for these experiences, especially if she had a dominant daddy, okay? Why? Because if she had a dominant daddy, okay, or she had an unavailable father, then she's looking to fill that gap. That's a wound that's in her heart. Other way around too, if the boy had a unavailable mother or a domineering mother or a controlling mother, so he has wounds. So he's looking to fulfill those wounds. So like a good friend of mine said, we tend to attract who we are, okay? A little bit tricky here. Because actually, if you go deeper into it, it's not that you attract who you are, it's attract who is a mirror of your wounds, okay, in the beginning, at an early stage. And so what she's looking for is this confident, powerful, assertive, outgoing guy, and this young, testo-boosted kind of man, okay, which is actually a boy, gives her that energy. So what does she get? She goes, whoa, not only is this guy strong, confident, and outgoing, but he's also fun. And wow, he likes to break the rules. Oh my God, I feel so safe. I feel like I can enjoy, like he's alive. And here's the trick. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Even though with her friends, this young girl, and they've all been dreaming about this, and because Disney manipulates us too, but when we get to this and she goes, oh, I wish I could find someone like Prince Charming when they were like 10 years old. And what is Prince Charming? Prince Charming is this nice, polite, let's say, let me make this larger for everybody. Caring, honest, emotionally expressive person, attentive. So he pays attention to her needs and her wants and her conversation, and even to her details, okay? And he has good hygiene, okay? Because that's a big issue when they're young, all right? So what you're looking here is, you're saying, all right, hold on a second, I'm confused. How come the nice, caring, emotional, expressive person, polite guy, honest, attentive to detail, basically a good partner, okay? How come, as young woman, we didn't go for that guy, okay? So, well, here's the thing. It's not the problem. The problem is not with that guy's characteristics, okay, or that woman's characteristics. The problem is with the way those characteristics are expressed to a person who does not understand the value of them. So what I mean is, when you're a young girl or a young boy, you don't know better. So you weren't taught properly to search for these right characteristics. And so early, if you find a nice, caring, emotional guy, many people find this boring. So here comes this young, sweet lad, as they say in British. Okay, this lovely lad, and he offers a rose to this lovely lady and sings a poem of praise. And so what happens here in this situation is the girl, okay, goes, all right, this is too good to be true. This guy's psycho. There's no way this guy's a strong character. And so what she does is she instantly labels him as one of these three beautiful labels. He's going to get the labels of either psycho, just for fun, or weak, or desperate, or, in the case of Mediterranean women and men, manipulative. And this is where things go so wrong, because what's going to happen is, okay, and mark my words here. I'll get some water. Ya shabab, ya asdiqai, ya ahba'i. Trying to say this in Lebanese, Arabic, and other Arabics. Not sure what I'm saying exactly, but anyways. If you guys walk up to a girl, or hopefully a woman, but let's say she's still a girl in her mind, and you say to her, on the first date, you went out on the first date, you wore something nice, you put your perfume or your cologne or whatever it is, came up to her, you jumped up to the table, you pulled back the chair, you let her sit down, and you were just really, really nice. I mean, like, sweet nice, okay? This is a massive red flag for a girl who does not know the value of herself or of a good man. And even a woman who knows the value of a good man will still be questionable about your behavior. Why? Because in her mind, she's going to say, all right, in this world today, real gentlemen don't really exist. And we don't know as women if they ever really did exist. So the only way a woman is certain, look at the word, certain of your genuinity is time. So if you are too genuine, too sweet, too loving in the very beginning, you have to understand that she might get shocked from that behavior. And the first thing her mind's going to do is it's going to split. Why? Because her heart's going to go, oh my God, this is so nice. This is what I've been asking for. I'm so tired of jerks. And then her brain's going to kick in, because when she was 15 and 16 and 17, she got lied to by that horrible jerk, the predator, who lied and took away her love and made her fall in love with him and then hurt her, damaged her. And then probably she met a couple of more idiots like this. Okay, and we're not judging people, but we're saying in that context of behavior. So in her brain, she will go like, yeah, no, not gonna let my heart fall for this one. Way too early. I haven't even said a word yet. I didn't even spit a word out. How can you don't even know me. How can you fall in love with me and do all these lovely things for me when you don't even know me? So nice guy comes in and says, okay, but hold on, I'm actually genuinely nice. And then so the girl says, what do you mean you're genuinely nice? And he's like, well, I'm nice like this all the time. And then she's like, oh, so you're nice like this to everybody. And, because if you're a genuine guy, you go like, yeah, these are my values. So I'm kind of nice to everybody. Ah, okay, that's nice. But in her brain, what did she just say? So he's not nice to me because I'm special. He's just genuinely nice to everyone. So how do I even know if I'm special with him? How do I know if he really cares about me? How do I know? How do I know? How do I know? And so what does the girl do in this case? She panics and goes, you know what? I prefer to go for the jerk because I know what I'm dealing with. I've been there before and I know how to handle the situation. But with a nice guy that I can't read, I can't even tell if he's nice. I don't even know if he's genuine. Psycho warning or insecurity to the max. So what's happening, my dear friends, is by being genuinely nice and sweet, okay, you're actually scaring the woman away if she's a girl. And when I say a girl, let me explain the difference between girl and woman. You see, a girl and a boy, for me, in the context of psychology, well, I can't really say that. Let's say in the context of cultural psychology, is a person who is still trying to heal their infant wounds, okay? Went through a difficult time in their life, had some bad experiences, whether it was a father or mother, or probably a nasty boyfriend or girlfriend. Nice guys fall in love, girl breaks his heart, dates his best friend, happened to me, whatever. And bottom line is what's going to happen is, in this situation, okay, you start to develop a defensive kind of barrier. And what you do is you go around and you say, okay, nice people are stupid. I don't want to be nice anymore because it doesn't pay to be a good person. Really? That's the conclusion you came up with? After all of this, this is the conclusion? So let me tell you why this conclusion exists. This conclusion exists, if you allow me to say, because my dear friends, my sweet, lovely female and male brothers and sisters, you are basing all your decisions of future relationships on fear. Okay? That's why all your future relationships are messed up. Okay? Because if you start, you see, the way you end your last relationship is going to dictate the choices in your next relationship to an extent. So if you ended your last relationship with a very rocky experience, there is a high probability that you're going to end up attracting the same kind of person because you didn't deal with your inner issues yet. And your inner issues tend to be, to an extent, what your subconscious mind is trying to attract you to, the kind of person that your subconscious mind going, aha, this is the one. Why? Because your subconscious mind wants you to resolve that unresolved problem, okay? And so the partner you choose is very much influenced by your childhood or by your wounds, if I'm gonna say, okay? So the people you grew up with as a parent, a mother or father, have certain personality traits, and then when you see those personality traits in another person, male or female, you're attracted to them because your brain goes, oh my God, I just wish I could be a child again. I wish I could feel that freedom of being a child and the giggliness of being a child and the enjoyment of being a child, okay? And so in a general sense, what's happening is you're kind of re-attracting to yourself what you need to make you feel valuable and loved. And that's really it. It's a massive chemical tabule. I think that we're emotionally unstable and the reason is family. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, look, please understand that if you want to get free of this cycle, you need to not judge anybody, and you need to learn to start. Well, you don't need to. You I recommend you learn to forgive and forget. Why? Because when you forgive and you forget, you will let go of these past wounds to an extent, and you will start to ask yourself smart questions. Okay, so let's look at some not very smart questions. But first, I'm going to take a look at your comments really quickly. Salim, Samir, Habibi. Okay, it doesn't pay to be a good person, especially with a woman. At least the woman I've known for the past 2 years, they don't like caring, sweet guys. They prefer jerks. Actually, you're exactly the kind of person I'm talking to in this session, because this is untrue. Because then what's happening in your brain, brother, is that you're actually saying, you know, if these women like jerks to an extent, then must I be a jerk to get the kind of woman that I want? And if so, then you've just become a jerk. Because by asking this question, you've actually went into jerk land. And we don't want to be in the jerk land. What we want to do is ask more powerful questions. So not paying to be a good person is the wrong outcome or conclusion. Okay? First of all, let's define the difference between being good and being good. Okay? So what do I mean by this? Please focus with me. When you're being good as being good for others, so you're acting in a good way, you would like to be a good person, that's not being good. Being good is from the inside. Being good is an internal choice. It's not something you switch on and off like a switch and say, today I want to be good, tomorrow I don't want to be good. If you're functioning based on your truth, if you're an asswipe, then be that until you're not. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is be true to yourself and tell people, I'm sorry, I have a nasty character. I haven't figured out how to deal with it yet. At least people won't get hurt from you. You're honest. But when you come and say, okay, I'm a nice person, and then you attract a nice person, and then once they get close to you, you switch as a man or a woman and turn out to be a really nasty person, you're actually wounding yourself even more, because then that person is going to get shocked. They're going to feel pain. They're going to reflect that back on you. And then you're going to feel, oh my God, I'm such a nasty person. So you're going to get angry, and then you're going to release that anger back on people and say, it doesn't pay to be a nice person. Hold on a second. Have you not realized that you're in a loop? That this loop is cyclical? So when do you break the loop? When will this end? Let me share with you some science. Okay? Some science. I'm just looking at Instagram comments. Well, that's kind of silly. When you say you forgive but you cannot forget, that's not forgiveness. When you say you forgive but cannot forget, that's a, how do I say, conditional forgiveness. So you're forgiving to kind of feel good about yourself, but you're not really letting go. Because forgiveness means emptying that space in your mind, the real estate that this pain is taking up, and closing this wound. So to forgive someone is to send peace and love to them, to wish them better, and to recognize that they also have wounds. Because everyone here, whether they are a jerk or not a jerk, is functioning because they're wounded. Okay? Rare are those who are jerks just because they were born jerks. I've never seen a jerk baby. Have you guys ever seen a jerk baby? Have you ever met a baby who's 1 year old who was born and was like, what's up? I don't like you. Has that ever happened? No. So babies, people are generally born neutral. What makes them into jerks in general, unless they have an actual medical problem where their brain or their paleolimbic system is messed up, okay, in general, so that's only like 0.000 whatever percent, okay, all people start off as decent people. They were brought up in an environment that causes them to learn, behave, and believe the beliefs that they have. So stop judging everyone, because if you're judging them, you're judging yourself with the same terms, conditions that you've judged them. And if you can't forgive them, then you can't forgive yourself. And so you will still feel bad about who you are, and you will still continue to attract the same type of people who are in the same painful phase that you're currently in, and you'll never get out of this trap. That's why you must forgive and forget. Because when you forgive and you forget, you cleanse. You renew who you are. Okay. Because you forgive, you don't wish to live with the pain anymore, but that doesn't mean that you need to erase the memory of the experience. When we say forget, we don't mean that you're going to erase the memory of the experience. When we say forget, we mean that we don't give it any light of day. We don't bring it back into the new equation of relationship with a new man, okay? Because when you're choosing the next man, if that previous wound is still in the equation, then you're functioning out of fear, my dear. And so you're still going to make the wrong decisions, بحالك, because you won't know how to recognize a man who's at peace. And you might not give him that opportunity. You know where the major problem is with nice guys? Is that women who are in a state of fear do not give them enough time. They don't give them enough of a chance to see that they truly are nice. Min alkun to jump heads over heels over the guy or the girl. Why are you guys so extreme? I love you. The next morning, but I don't because you hurt me. Hey, Shufi, take it easy. Why the extreme? Hold on a second. I'm just trying to make this fun for you guys, okay? There's no judgment here. Let me just share a couple of things with you guys and just put this into some context, okay? You guys are funny. All right. A lot of studies were done. There's probably hundreds of studies that show that when they put men and women in speed dating, okay, and they put them. You know what speed dating is? Doesn't exist in Lebanon or in the Arab world, but it's where they put a man and a woman in a restaurant. They sit on a chair. They have a 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute conversation, whatever, and then they switch, and then they ask them questions. They say, okay, what was your experience on this person, that person, number 22, number 27? What did you think about that person? And what they found is, without a shadow of a doubt, that women are generally, okay, and almost extremely attracted to jerks, okay? And here's the issue, okay? Roland, don't get into the details. Okay, here's the issue. That's for the next session. The issue is that women in general have proven that they, in an initial attraction phase, will go for the narcissist. Why? Because the narcissist is good at manipulation. So what does the narcissist do? The narcissist portrays the values that I was talking about, which are confidence, assertive, and outgoing. Whereas the nice guy in many aspects is going to be shy, not so outgoing. They've been hurt before, so they're sort of patient, or they're quiet and they're a good listener. And so they make the woman feel safe. And safe is boring in a dating experience at the very beginning. What was very interesting to find was that the caring, outgoing, loving, and nurturing woman was graded as extremely attractive to the man. So unlike what most people think, men are actually attracted much more to the way you make them feel and the way you treat them than the way you look. I know this is going to be shocking because the majority of women always say, men are always attracted to looks. Yes, on a computer, on a telephone screen, and from a distance, yes. But you can get the most beautiful woman in the world. She could walk up to a man and have a major attitude, like a nasty, sort of dry, entitled, competitive, self-centered attitude with vanity and arrogance and like whatever, okay? And what's going to happen is the man's going to go, okay, not you. And then he's going to look at her friend who is far from the same physical nature. And I'm not judging physical nature. I'm not being superficial, but let's be honest. I know a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman and not a very beautiful woman is not a very beautiful woman. It's not me who decides. But bottom line is, but she smiles at him and he will go for her every single time. And this is proven in bars around the world. What they found is that men are always attracted to the woman who smiles, the woman who's caring. Now, this is contradictory when you look at a book like Why Men Fall in Love with the B Word, which I think was a very weird and silly title, but I'm not judging, okay? Because this lady is saying in her book that men are attracted to women who make themselves unavailable, who are hard to get, who are a challenge, right? Okay, let's pause for a second and think about that. What kind of man is attracted to a woman who's a very challenging woman, who's very arrogant, competitive, self-centered, vain, entitled, cares mostly about what the man is offering her versus what the man actually has in his character? And I'm not judging, but what kind of a man? A narcissistic man, a hunter on the extreme end of the spectrum. So yes, if you want to play the game where you want to continually live in a drama triangle, where you're the victim, or the hero, the savior, trying to save the man, right? Change the bad boy into the good, sweet-hearted boy. Because in a woman's brain, it's actually proven that if a woman dates a bad boy and she feels that she has the potential to change him, it gives her a massive rush. So in fact, women said, nothing makes a woman feel more like she's a woman than when she takes a really difficult, unavailable, unattainable man and bad boy and makes him fall in love with her. I can't tell you how many women have come up to me and said, you don't know what I could do to you. If I want to, I'll make you fall in love with me like this. And I'm like, yeah, not gonna happen, because I'm not interested in that kind of a game. I'm sorry, but you're still in a wounded phase and you're not for me. Okay? Why? Because real men and women, and when I say real men and women, as in not girls and boys, this is not to judge their value, but actually real men and women who have taken the time to understand who they are, to deal with their pain, to deal with their wounds, to recognize that they can heal those, to get out of a state of judgment, to move to a state of forgiveness and understanding, to know their value and self-worth, which I've been talking about for maybe 10 sessions. I've given 10 lives where I've discussed the fact that, ya akhwati, my dear friends, my brothers and my sisters, you are allowing the world to measure you. And these measurements are dictated by AIs and computers and programs and fashion and marketing and companies. You know, what makeup you should wear and how your eyes should look. Am I saying makeup is bad? No, I enjoy makeup, but not when it turns my shirt into a brown patch. Okay, I'm sick and tired of washing my shirts. That is prior to Corona, right? When, you know, girl gives you a hug and then her cheek comes here and then you have this constant super brown patch that will never go away. So what I'm trying to say is, girls, please don't misunderstand me. You want to do makeup, go for it. But really, honestly, I just kind of find it very unattractive because it stinks. The smell of the powder. Ooh. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, I'm just trying to make this fun for you, is that I think a lot of people are going to hate me for this. But anyways, look, what do we all ultimately want? What are we in search of as human beings? Okay, yani from the moment we are born until the moment we die, what are we really in search of? I'm going to go a bit deep now. Okay, let's step out of this game. Thank you. I love you guys too. We are in search of love. And what does love really mean? Love means to be accepted as I am with all my imperfections, right? And to still feel whole and complete, because someone has chosen to overlook all the issues that others have highlighted in me and still love me unconditionally. That doesn't come from people. That's why there's no such thing as unconditional love from a human being. That comes from God. So, what kind of love can we expect from a human being? A modest love, an honest love, and an incomplete love. If I accept an incomplete love from another human being, that's probably the greatest act of love that I can do, because I'm accepting their incomplete love. Because they are just like me, they are incomplete. And in their incompletion, they are complete. Because that's how God sees us. God sees us in our full potential, not in our partial potential. He treats us like we are born saints. We treat ourselves like we are sinners. Do you understand? So let me ask you something. If you truly got to know yourself and you fell in love with the gift of yourself that God has given you, with your imperfections, with your big ears, your big nose, your balding head, your I don't know, small chest, your whatever it is. Am I saying that you shouldn't do upgrades? I don't know. I don't really think it matters that much. But if you did, why not? You go to the gym, you try to increase the tonality of your body, oh, whatever. It makes you happy. But it shouldn't be because you're searching for other people's acceptance of you. It should be because you desire to enjoy that journey. And for that time, it was like, trying sushi. You're trying something new. No big deal. But when you really love yourself, when you really understand your value, you can't be attracted to the bad boys. Because you will take time to ask the right questions. You will sit down and you'll say, okay, does this person love themselves? And how does he love himself? Or how does she love herself? If they love others, then they will love me. Okay? Because if they're capable of loving themselves with all their imperfections, then how much more capable are they of loving others? If they've overcome the biggest challenge, which is accepting themselves, when all the world tells you that you're not enough, especially in today's world, then how much more capable are you of being patient and tolerant with others? So, like my friend Maya says, you attract to yourself, once you mature, who you are. And what that means is, if you're attracting to yourself jerks, it's because there is an unresolved part of your life, wounds that you have not yet closed up, come to terms with, or faced. That's why I always recommend you guys going to therapy. Please understand, therapy is not a taboo. I don't do therapy. I'm not a therapist, okay? I'm a behavioralist. You can go to a therapist, and if it's the first one doesn't work out, and the second one doesn't work out, and the third one doesn't work out, you keep going until you find the right person for you. Just like you go to a gym coach. You might try 20 gym coaches until the 21st will be the right person for you. And they will be able to serve you and help you. If your therapist makes you feel worse, okay, makes you feel disconnected, doesn't give you a sense of security, wrong therapist. If your therapist takes your problems and makes it even worse, like I had a therapist once sit down with my sisters and tell them, you don't have a personality. Who says that? Where is that written in science? Even therapy till today is not fully scientifically mapped. It's still partially theoretical. But good therapy is about good connection. Why? Because for me, at least after trying many therapists, I've come to understand that when I feel my therapist genuinely cares about my well-being, I heal faster. So what am I getting? Love. Okay? And this is very, very important because, at least this is my opinion. You don't have to accept this. Okay? I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. So, Samir, talking about imperfections, do looks matter when it comes to seducing women? For instance, let's be honest, women are superficial, aren't they? I really appreciate your honesty, because it takes a lot of honesty. You see, this comment might really make a lot of people upset. And I'd like to tell you and ask you, what does seduction give you? So this is why I asked this question when we went back to the beginning, dating short-term or dating long-term. And I'm not here to judge which is what. I'm just not interested in showing you guys where the dating short-term rules of the game are. Why? Because everything that's short-term is damaging for you. You might seduce the kind of woman that you want, but then you will pay the price of it, and she will pay the price of it because you've done it both for the wrong reasons. And it will make you even more messed up. So when you dip your hands in fire, don't come back saying, oh my God, my fingers are burnt. So seduction is a very interesting term in the right context. But I honestly don't like it as a word. I would prefer use attraction. Why? Now, some of you might be like, John, don't be so perfect, like you're living in the perfect world. It's so much fun to be seductive and have wild games, where a guy and a girl meet each other and rip each other's, whatever off. Well, okay, to an extent it is, but again, in what context? What framework? Okay? If the framework is just to escape reality, so I'm going to something sexual because I'm escaping reality, right? Because it feels good for the moment. And afterwards, I'm like, okay, so what just happened? And what did I do? And what is this gonna? So that's gonna create for you some results in your brain. And remember, whatever you practice, you become. So if you're practicing short-term dating and short-term benefits, that's pretty much what you're going to continue to attract yourself all the time. And like you seduce someone will seduce you. Like you use someone will use you. And then the loop continues. Coming from a position when you say it doesn't pay to be a good person, well, being a good person is not a switch. It's a set of values. That's why I said there's a difference between being good and being good. As in being good to get a goal or an objective, or being good because you really are good. Very different things. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't want to be a therapist because there are many amazing therapists, but I love researching human behavior and I try my best to share this information with you, and I enjoy coaching, mentoring, training, all that stuff. Somehow we keep on seeing good girl with bad guy and good guy with bad girl as if opposites attract. Yes, they do, because, and here's kind of the situation. So long as you're wounded, you will continue to possibly attract the kind of man or woman that you need to deal with to close that wound. So that's why, and please, let's get out of bad and good, okay? That's kind of a simplistic way to look at things. That person could be a good person, but nasty in relationships, or it could be a bad person, but good in relationships, right? You can meet someone who's totally horrible with people, but very good with his girlfriend. And the girlfriend walks around being so happy. She goes, yes, I don't care how he is with others, but he's good with me. Okay, but when that ends, he will switch back to his actual nature, and then yatik al-afiyah. So don't come back crying when suddenly 5 years down the line, you don't meet the needs that he has anymore. And then after that, you're like, oh my God, he changed. How? Do you understand what I'm saying? We still have to go deeper into this. There's so much more I want to share with you, but I can't. We've been talking for an hour. Let me just take a look at your last comments and we'll continue this next time. Is this interesting to you? I mean, are you guys enjoying this? Because I see, wow, there's a lot of emoticons now. I'm kind of taking a look at all the responses. So let's close this session up. I mean, it's been an hour. I'm trying to keep these under an hour. I think people who see this recording get freaked out because they're like, an hour and 15 minutes. What is he talking about? Who's going to stay awake that much? I just want to tell you this. Doesn't matter. I'm doing this because I just want to give back and also learn from all of this with you. Look, there's an interesting phrase that is called trauma bonding. Okay, and trauma bonding is when you go through certain trauma, and then after that, you tend to re-attract the same kind of situation that would recreate the same kind of trauma, so that you can eventually, supposedly, deal with it and eliminate it. Okay, but most times that doesn't actually happen, because the people that created the trauma and the new people that are going to create the trauma again for you are actually reinforcing the trauma in you, and will reinforce your belief that you are either unlucky in life, or why does this always happen to me, you know, kind of phrase, and oh my God, why do I always attract the bad kind of person, man or woman, and all that kind of stuff. But in fact, it's an actual addiction to that sort of stress, you know, where you say, I need that kind of tension so that I can feel alive. Okay, so if you find that when you're in a relationship, and what people mistakenly call as passion, a wild, passionate relationship where there's action, and you know, like musalsal Mexique, or when you watch these soap operas, or in Lebanese or Turkish or Syrian, whatever, ليش عملت هيك يا دلال بستحيلك ما blah, blah, blah. Okay, and إجا أبو عضل, and you know, all this stuff, and people get super addicted to it, and I'm not judging it. Okay, if you like the stuff, good for you, but at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, why do I like this stuff? What about this show is making me feel addicted to these characters? What can I learn from this experience? Okay, and what is the deal? Because look, even negative attention is attention. Okay, even negative attention is attention. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe that attention equals being loved. So if my boyfriend, I can't tell you how many girls have told me this, انه إذا ما بيغار علي ما بحبني, right? If he doesn't get jealous, he doesn't love me. That is a bunch of garbage. Because a real man is confident and certain in his choices and trusts you to be who you are. And a real woman is confident and certain in her man and trusts him to be who he is. This is not to say that a little jealousy is not fun. Please don't, no, jealousy is not cute. I'm sorry, jealousy is sick. It's a weakness. Okay? Fun jealousy, playful jealousy, probably, if you want to call it that, could be cute in some context, but why is it cute? Let's dig into that. Because you consider it to be attention. Like, oh my God, he's a little bit jealous. That's so cute. Really? No, that's not cute. That's your brain telling you, oh wow, I just got a little dose of attention today. And now I'm more certain that he's giving me attention and cares about me. So he makes me feel special. Really? That's how you're measuring your special value? By someone getting angry and then expressing it in an overly dramatic way, in an unstable manner? That's not love. That means that he's insecure and you're insecure. And that's not to judge you. That just means that you're both suffering from wounds. Do you understand? So no, it's not cute. Okay? Jealousy is a symptom of a lack of confidence. Now, here's where things are going to get tricky. And I'm going to wrap up with this. Is there anyone with 100% confidence? No. So does everyone get partially jealous? Yes. Everyone has his kryptonite or her kryptonite. I, as a man, I'm not the jealous type. Never have been, never will be. But are there some situations where I get jealous? Yes. What's their percentage? 2%. So in general, not a big deal to deal with, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm the perfect man, because I'm far from perfect. I have so many issues. But when it comes to a classic relationship, if your desire to feel loved is based on jealousy, you need to kind of dig deep there and figure out, what is jealousy giving you? What does jealousy mean to you? And what does jealousy mean to him? And is that going to lead you to a healthy space in the future? Okay? So you're a brilliant coach, John. Thank you so much. I'll go on living with my cat. Perhaps solitude in a poetic sense is a new underestimated way of life. I don't think we really need to be with a partner until we find the right partner. Again, like a dear friend of mine, Maya, said, there's always a key to every lock, or every lock has its key. I'm 40, turning 41, and I still haven't found recently, over the last 15 years or 10 years, the right partner for me. And I'm not in a rush to jump into a relationship just because I need to be labeled as someone who's in a relationship, because that's going to be way more taxing emotionally, psychologically, and energy-wise than being alone. So there's nothing wrong with solitude. And I don't think solitude is solitude, because if you're happy with yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, then okay, so you're not in solitude. Yahoo, right now I've been in lockdown for a year and I'm okay. Are there days I feel lonely? Yes, of course. Because it doesn't mean that if we enjoy being alone, that we don't want to have the company of human beings. It just doesn't mean necessarily that I am looking, because I need to have a partner to feel okay. Okay? And so in this context, what I'm saying is, as you grow up mentally and emotionally, and as you become and you get to know who you are, you start to understand your value. And once you know your value, okay, but value with gratitude, so not an attitude or being stuck up, but value with gratitude, your choice of partner will become someone who's very much aligned with your energy and with your frequency, okay? So maybe some questions to ask would be, let's do the girl to guy situation for this session, and then the next one will be guy to girl situation, because I think guys need a lot of education when it comes to understanding women. They have, unfortunately, have a lot of anger. I had a lot of anger myself for a very long time. So if you meet a nice guy, don't give up on them so quickly. If you have a sense where you feel they might be faking it, okay, because they're genuinely nice, and you think that they're either weak, because being nice is not a weakness, okay, or you think that they're too sweet, you know, there would be some things I would recommend. If it's within your cultural norm and you guys have kissed, then ask yourself, did you enjoy kissing him? Because if you enjoyed kissing him, then chemistry is there, okay? when something really good or bad happens, do you feel like you want to share this information with him? So is he someone you get to go? The same could be applying for girls, actually, okay? But like someone that you could go to and talk to and have a conversation. And when you talk, sometimes does the conversation drag on, and then 20 minutes down the line or 50 minutes, you're like, oh my God, we were supposed to have a 5-minute conversation and never ended. Does that person make you laugh, male or female? And do you are you surprised sometimes when you create a safe space for them to come out and be themselves, especially if they're nice people? Do they surprise you with a lot of their talents and their character? Do you feel that they are reliable? Do you feel that they are people who bring out the best in you? Do they support you when you need them around? Okay. And so in society, if you walk, would you be proud with him or her next to you? So are they people that meet your standard on a social level? Do you guys share the same values spiritually? It might not be the same religion, but the same values spiritually. Can you have deep conversations? And are you physically attracted? So what we're looking at is 5 primary dimensions, which is physical attractiveness, emotional attractiveness, mental attractiveness or intellectual attractiveness, social attractiveness, and spiritual attractiveness. Did I say spiritual first or physical first? I forgot. Yes, spiritual attractiveness, okay? So this is where you're looking at these 5 dimensions and thinking to yourself, does this person meet all these 5? Then yes, I should give them more of a chance, okay? And for men who are nice with women, there's no need, okay, to overdo it in the beginning to please her, because that's going to come off a little bit weird. So just be yourself. Just be relaxed. Like, step into the conversation, have an honest conversation with the woman. Just be yourself. Allow her to get to know you. Don't close up and don't overly open up. Don't dump too much information readily. So if she asks you a question, don't tell her an entire novel about you, and not the other way around, because you have to understand that women have gone through a lot of challenges with jerky men. And so from that perspective, it's not fair for you to say, no, she's supposed to understand that I'm a nice guy. Grow up, okay? If you really are a man and you're a man who sees the value in that woman, then you should be patient enough and attentive enough to understand how she's thinking until she feels safe with you, because women require repetition to feel safe. Okay, so if you're nice for a week and then you get angry at her after a week, I can't tell you how many women tell me this. They're like, I don't know what happened to him. I was nice with him, everything else, and then suddenly he sent me this message, you are such a B word, toot, 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 toot. Why? Because she didn't pick up on your phone. Then she's like, you see, he was nice in the beginning, but I knew there was something wrong with him. Psycho, right? So, and if you're doing that because you felt that she wounded you, that's not her fault. That's because you have an insecurity and you have a wound that hasn't healed yet. So don't take it out on the next person you're trying to date. Same applies from a female perspective, okay? Just because, Leah, you're funny. When you're telling me women require consistency, it's true. But I want you to understand that just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you guys don't have a brain and that you can't use your brain in an effective way, right? Just because biologically a woman requires consistency, it doesn't mean that if a man is not consistent, suddenly you're not going to get what you need. Sah? So what I'm trying to say is, give the man a chance and work with him so he can also feel safe, because men don't really express themselves in the Middle East that much. They're not that comfortable in their own skin, okay? Especially if he's a mama's boy. If he's a mama's boy and his mom still washes his clothes and cooks his food and pampers him, or his elder sisters, then, that guy needs some time to grow up and become a man. No offense, men, but that's the honest truth. If you're still in a situation where your mom's doing everything, like, I get so surprised when a mom comes up and he says, sometimes my mom's friends, إنه ليه عايش لوحدك؟ ليه منك عايش مع أمك وبيك؟ I'm 41 years old. And then they're like, yes, but why aren't you living with your mom and your dad? Why would I live with my mom and dad? Because your mom can cook food for you and wash your clothes. So my mom's job is to cook food for me and wash my clothes after I'm 18? Is it beautiful that your mom is washing your clothes sometimes? Yes, but she does it out of love, not because she's your slave. So at the end of the day, if you want to be a man, be a man. And if you want to be a woman, right, be a woman. Okay? Please, please, for the love of God, do not say, my dad treats me as a princess. I'm a princess. I want someone to treat me as a princess. What does that mean? I'm sorry, I'm confused. What does that mean? What do you mean you're a princess? So you're saying basically that I want to be pampered and taken care of like I'm my boyfriend's daughter. You understand how messed up that is? Yeah? Not very healthy. So please think through what you guys are saying and its impact. I need to go because I'm sure Instagram's going to shut me down any second. I love you guys. You're amazing. I hope you're enjoying this. So many comments. Give me a second. You should write these questions and share them. Well, they're recorded. Says something that something should be revealed. Why am I? She just, yeah, Shadi, absolutely. We should center our happiness on a partner, a job, family. It's like pizza. Each piece has a certain value. The center will only be God, because he will always stay. Yes, but God also created man to make you happy and woman to make man happy and pizza to make you happy too. Okay, so everything can make you happy. Just don't put all the pressure on your partner and don't expect your partner to put all the pressure on you. Guys, it's a journey. Okay, have you ever seen a couple walking together down the street where the woman is on the guy's shoulders or the guy is on the woman's shoulders? No, because if the woman's on the guy's shoulders, she's expecting to carry her all the way down the street if they're walking b'shara. And the other way around, no, but the beautiful couples are the ones that hold hands and walk together down the street. I'm still walking on my own. She's still walking on her own. She's using her legs. I'm using my legs. And we're both walking, but we can hold hands while we're walking, okay? Khalil Gibran said in his book, and when they asked him, and what if marriage, master? And he said, in the book The Prophet, he said, be like two trees, but not in each other's shade, and let the winds of heaven dance between you, or something like that. He said, drink, but not from each other's cup. So what was he saying? He was saying very clearly, be separate souls, but together you create beauty. So he didn't say, be the cup of the other person, carry her water, or carry his water all the time. Be the little plant under the shade of the big tree. That's daddy to girl, or daddy or mommy to boy. That's not partnership. You understand? So we still need to go a little deeper into this next time. Love you guys. It was fun. Hour, 17 minutes. JK out. See you next week. Feel free to send me messages and comments if you want me to tackle something specific. You don't have to agree with me. You can agree to disagree with me, and I'm super okay with that because that's how we learn. You can teach me a million new things, and if you have a different perspective, share it with me because I learned that way, okay? I'm not perfect. I'm just sharing with you all the research I've done so far and what I've learned from my own experiences, and that's what I have, okay? So God bless you. Take care. If you find this is valuable for someone who's suffering or dealing with these kinds of things, share it with them, okay? Because I think it's good to educate people and empower them in this way. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Yalla. Bye-bye. Ma salama. See you in another day on episode of John Kairou's and Honest Conversations. Yes. Goodbye.